Let's get into it. We're doing a really fascinating slice of Southeast Asian history. We're talking Chinese trade, piracy on a grand scale, and one truly remarkable individual at the center of it all.
That's right. And our sources, they paint quite a vivid picture. We're drawing on academic work, looking at history of raiding there, but also reviews of a novel about her life, and even touching on modern piracy trends.
So the mission really is to understand that connection, that interplay between legitimate trade and illicit raiding. And to zoom in on one of history's most successful pirates, period, a woman known as Zheng Yi Sao.
And you might even recognize a version of her, actually. Think Mistress Ching from that big pirate movie franchise.
Right. So setting the scene, maritime raiding, it wasn't exactly new in Asia when Europeans showed up, was it?
Not at all. But what we think of as piracy, sort of large-scale organized raiding, it really surged, especially in response to colonialism and, critically, that huge boom in the China trade in the late 1700s. It wasn't just random attacks, it felt more like a systemic response.
And the location itself, Southeast Asia, it seems almost purpose-built for this kind of thing, all the trade routes converging.
Exactly. You've got incredibly valuable cargo moving through, then add thousands of islands for hiding, narrow straits like Malacca acting as natural funnels. It's perfect. And some local powers, well, they weren't always against it. Sometimes they even encouraged it, or at least turned a blind eye.
So it wasn't just one group, this piracy thing. It was pretty international.
Oh, absolutely. Europeans were involved, Japanese, various local indigenous groups, and, crucially for our story, Chinese pirates. And it often got tangled up with slaving, too, which was, unfortunately, a key part of how global commerce was developing then. A brutal part.
So into this really turbulent world steps Shi Yang, born around 1775. But she becomes known as Zheng Yi Sao, meaning wife of Zheng Yi. She married this prominent pirate leader, Zheng Yi, in 1801.
And her background, well, the details are a bit murky, as they often are. Some sources suggest quite humble beginnings, maybe sold into servitude, possibly working on what they called a flower boat, which could mean various things, sometimes involving prostitution or entertainment.
But whatever her exact start, the consistent theme is that she was sharp, really shrewd, seen as a capable businesswoman even then.
That business sense seems crucial, because when Zheng Yi dies unexpectedly in 1807, she doesn't just fade away. There's his adopted son, Zhang Bao, who might have been expected to take over.
Right.
But Zheng Yi Sao makes moves. She builds alliances, including a key one with Zumbo himself, who she actually later marries. And through this, she secures command of this massive pirate confederation. Sources are pretty clear. Zhang Bao ultimately followed her lead.
Wow, that's a serious power play. And under her command, this wasn't just some small pirate band. We're talking possibly the most powerful pirate force the world has ever seen.
Arguably, yes. The numbers are just staggering. At their peak, estimates suggest maybe over 1,800 ships and maybe 70,000, even 80,000 pirates under her command.
80,000. I mentioned Blackbeard earlier. He had what, 4 ships? A few hundred men? It's not even comparable.
Exactly. It dwarfs the figures we usually associate with the golden age of European piracy. Her scale was on another level. And she apparently brought structure. She's credited with uniting different, often rival Cantonese pirate fleets. That's a huge political achievement in itself.
And the famous Code of Laws, was that really her?
Well, historians debate the exact authorship. Did she personally write it down? But it was enforced under her authority. Extremely strict rules, disobeying orders, harming civilians, especially female captives, could mean death. It provided discipline for this huge force.
And this force wasn't just picking off easy targets. They clashed with navies, right?
They fought the Qing dynasty's navy repeatedly. They took on the Portuguese based in Macau. They even tangled with the British East India Company. And the remarkable thing, her fleet remained essentially undefeated in these major confrontations.
Undefeated. So how did it end? You'd expect some massive final battle.
That's what makes it even more extraordinary. She didn't get defeated. In 1810, she negotiated a surrender. She basically brokered a deal with the Chinese Governor General.
Negotiated. A pirate lord negotiating terms.
Yes, and incredible terms. She and Zhang Bao were pardoned. They got to keep a significant number of their ships integrated into the official navy or kept for trade. They weren't prosecuted. They were allowed to marry officially. They even received land. It was less a surrender, more like a negotiated retirement package.
That's just amazing. So she retires from piracy. What then? Just fades away.
Not quite. Reports suggest she lived out her life quite peacefully and prosperously. Apparently ran a gambling establishment in Guangzhou until her death decades later. Quite the career arc.
From potential flower boat girl to undefeated pirate queen to a gambling house owner, you can see why her story lasts.
Absolutely. It's inspired fictional takes like Mistress Ching in Pirates of the Caribbean, and novels like The Flower Boat Girl try to capture her life.
Now, just briefly, jumping forward, piracy didn't vanish from the region, did it? It saw a comeback later on.
Right, towards the end of the 20th century, there was a noticeable resurgence. Some analyses connected partly to economic shifts, like China's rapid economic transition, creating new dynamics and perhaps dislocations.
And the methods changed too. Modern pirates aren't sailing massive junks anymore.
No, they adapted. Faced with better patrols, tactics shifted, sometimes faster, smash and grab attacks targeting specific valuable cargo or crew belongings. And more recently, a really worrying trend, especially in areas like the Sulu Sea, has been kidnapping for ransom, often operating from land bases in unstable areas.
So the threat evolves. Still focused on those key waterways, though. Malacca Straits, South China Sea.
The geography and the value of the trade moving through it remain constants. What's fascinating is seeing how these large-scale forces, global trade, political stability or instability, connect to the actions of individuals and groups, whether it's a figure like Zheng Yi Sao rising to incredible power centuries ago, or modern groups adapting their criminal tactics.
So thinking about all this, Zheng Yi Sao's story, it's more than just a cool pirate tale, isn't it? It really shows you how these incredibly complex, powerful figures can emerge when everything's in flux. And it underlines how trade and crime on the seas, they have this long, intertwined history that's still playing out.
Which leaves us with a question, maybe for you to ponder. As global trade keeps shifting and power dynamics change, how are maritime security and maritime crime likely to adapt next? What will the Zheng Yi Sao of the future look like? Or what challenges will they pose? Something to think about.